We began this week. We have begun this week with a special event, the resurrection of Lazarus, the friend of Jesus, and we can see Jesus in a very special way in front of the tomb of his friend. He is crying. The evangelist is using a verb, a special verb, which means that he is crying with a great intensification. So he is crying with all himself because of the death, because of the death of his friend. Before he revealed himself saying, I am the resurrection and the life. Now we see how God, how Christ, the life, is in relationship with death. It's his greatest enemy. And the evangelist is describing to us what is happening in Christ, in the Verb which became flesh, what is happening in his divine life and his human life in front of death. So he's first saying he's trembling in his spirit. Trembling he's angry. He's angry with the death. God is angry with the death. He does not want that there is the death. And this power, this divine power against the death, the second verb, is confusing Christ in himself, as John is writing. First, God is, you put away my friend, death. And then he's confused. And the third passage, that he's becoming to cry. He's feeling that his friend has been taken away by death. And to this is reacting Jesus again. The last verb is, he trembles in himself. So it's meaning that all his human life is taken by his divine life and is going against death. And with this power, he is calling, come out from your tomb, Lazarus. Because that is behind the Eastern. Here we can see what Jesus is feeling, thinking during his passion. He is going against our great enemy, that's the death, that's sin. Christ, with his divine consciousness, his human consciousness, his divine power, his human power is going against death and sin in the Easter mystery. And he is victory. He becomes the victory on death. So we can be sure that Christ in this moment, in front of all the persons who are dying because of coronavirus, he is the first one who is attacked. He's the first one who is suffering. He is now crying for every man who is dying, for every woman who is dying. He is crying. His divine lambs are honoring every person which is dying. But he does not stop. He does not finish with crying. He is the victory on death. He is the life. He is the resurrection. Now we can understand it better. He is saying to everybody who is dying, I am able to give you the life again. You can live forever, everlasting life. That's what Christ wants to give us in this Easter feast next week. That we are taking awareness of that the Eucharistic is giving us the same life of Christ, which has beaten the death, which has fought against the death, and it is victory on death. Let's go with these ideas in this week and hoping for Eastern. Eastern is the most strong reality of story, of history.